Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we are doing a three-way comparison between three different Lego houses. So starting on the far left, we have the Cozy House set 31139. And we have in the middle, this is the Family House set 60291. And that one was from 2001. Then on the far right, we have the Family House, but the newer version for 2023, which is known as Set 60398. Now, um, I'm comparing all of these. I did a review on all of them separately. I did a comparison video between the two family houses, the newer one and the older one. And then I recently did a review video on the Cozy House. And now I'm doing a comparison video on all three of them. And the reason why I think that all three of them actually great for people to purchase, because if you were trying to, if you were trying to build a little neighborhood, say, or a little, you're starting your own first little Lego city, you're not going too big. You're not one of those people who buy the heavy, big creator sets, or I think they're called icon sets or whatever they're called, where they have those, you know, um, what's the word I'm looking for? They are the modular ones that have the base plates and they're like really big, and like the hotel one. They recently made a museum one. All those other ones like that. I forget what line that's specifically called. I think they used to be Creator, and then I think now they're called something else. But those ones, they get very expensive, like $200, $300 for the sets or whatever the case is. They get very expensive. If someone's just starting off right now, you can buy yourself a city street base plate, which though the regular price I think is supposed to be about $20. Most of the time you find them on Amazon for about 17. Right now they're going for like about I think $16 right now on Amazon. So generally speaking, you get yourself one of those kind of street base plates, and then you can purchase these houses and form yourself a little community, a little area. Maybe then afterwards buy a little shop. Maybe something like the noodle shop right now goes for like about $35 on Amazon. Um, and you can find, build yourself a little community. So these three homes are very comparable. I think all three of them are worth purchasing if you're trying to form your own little city as a starter set, starter kind of setup. But if you wanted to decide between them, you can only buy one. This video is to help you decide which one you would go for. Now, this one right here, this is the older family house. And I'm just going to call it either the old family house, or I'm going to call it the 2021 family house, just to distinguish it from the newer one. And obviously this is just a Cozy House, but the older family house came with a street plate that was pretty decent size, the width of a normal street plate of the new street plates. And I'm not going to include that in here. Just know that it comes with it. But for the purpose of this comparison, I'll reference it, but I don't need it here to take up a lot of space, because already know what it is, and it's going to take up a lot of space. So don't mind that sound. That's the heat coming on to the house because we are in winter. So I'm going to move this out the way, but this is a little feature that comes with the newer house, with the newer family house. It's for little soccer play. You can see the little ball I have inside there at the moment, but that's not really going to be very important either for this, though I may reference it. So let's jump into it. The prices for all these right now are pretty comparable. The Cozy House, and I'm going to give you the price of what they are on Amazon. They're probably going to be similar priced elsewhere as well. But on Amazon, the Cozy House, I'm going to throw affiliate links in the description for all three of these. The Cozy House is running for $48. The older family house is running for $69, which is the most expensive because it's been replaced. So supply and demand, it's going to be less availability. But right now, that's $69, so $48, and then the newer family house is $51. So these two are very comparable. And if you wanted to just jump on these two, you could do that. This one's a little more expensive, but because it's fading out, so if you can get it, you can sometimes also find it on eBay. But if you're able to get that for a cheaper price, get it soon because it's going to fade away. So starting off, they're all very similar. They the cozy house comes with three family members. Um, the old family house comes with four family members, two kids, and two parents. And then the newer family house comes with three. So these two, the cozy house and the newer family one, comes with three, one kid and two adults on this one. So one thing that's a clear difference between the cozy house versus the two family houses, the family houses are for the city set, the cozy house is for the creator set. So that comes with some positive and negatives. So these are supposed to be module, the family houses, but the problem with them to me is that they aren't, there's not a lot you could do with their modularity. What I mean by that is, for example, this can come off the top, this top one could come off too, but there's nothing you can really do with this when you take it off the top. It's like, where do you put it? What do you do with it? You could take it off, but what am I doing with it? There's no really other place to put it. It doesn't look right for you to say put it somewhere on the side of it or whatever the case is. Like if this wasn't here and I put it on the side of it, well, that wouldn't make sense. You you can't rearrange and put the bottom on the top because this doesn't have a stackable, framing. So with that, it doesn't make sense. Now, also too, say if you have both of these sets and you go, okay, it's modular. I want to put this one on top of that. You could do that, but guess what? This one actually extends um, further. You can't see it like that, but I will match it up like this just so you can see. This is wider. This one's not. So it's less wider. So it is not even going to stack up in a normal way, let alone the fact you can't take this one and put it on top of this one and expect it to fit correctly, because it's not going to. If I didn't have this plant piece, maybe it will fit, but still, it doesn't extend all the way over that because this other one's wider. So my point to that is that though they are modular, that part really doesn't come into play, in my opinion, in terms of being very beneficial. Now, if you bought two of these sets, you could probably, not probably, you could take off the roof and then you could stack this up multiple levels to where you're just kind of reduplicating the same setup. You get these two floors, stack them. I don't know what you do with the rest of it. You could add extra yard. You can kind of figure out a kind of way to customize it, but you could stack that part in a modular aspect. But aside from that, the modular aspect doesn't really seem to benefit these city houses, even though they are part of that modular design. But that was supposed to be part of the pros of it, is the modular design, even though, like I said, it becomes almost a direct negative of the fact that what can I really do with that? Being part of the city set, also some of the other things that they come with is the fact that this one comes with a base road plate. This one has the driveway area, which has like a road plate aspect to it, even though it's like a fraction of the size, maybe like a quarter size of a road plate. And because it's part of the home and not extending outwards, even though it's a road plate in its design and material, it's no different than the fact that this one's driveway is studded in terms of where it's occupying the space. So I won't give it credit to say like it's as a base plate. But my point is that I was making note that these are a little more compatible with that. This one comes with a base plate. This one doesn't. It's a road base plate. This one doesn't. But they're both of them are a little more compatible with the city design because they are city based. Even though this one gets a little funny with attaching to a road, this one is completely able to attach to another road easily because you'll have the road plate in front and then you can just attach straight to another road. This one doesn't really attach that same way because of this. You can, I've done it by removing this little piece right here and attaching the road at that part. But the problem is this part then has to be removed. Your little flower bed has to be removed. Otherwise, it gets in the way of lining up with the street. So there are little obstacles, but the point is it's a little more made to go with road plates, the new road plates. So that's the difference and benefit of these two, the family house. Now the cozy house um, doesn't have that benefit of connecting with Lego with the city theme and the road plates as well. But its little niche or bonus is the fact that it's a creator 3-in-1. So you can actually change its design pretty readily because you actually have instructions on it, which actually makes it better for changing, even though it's a process to change it, but it makes it better for changing than I would say the modular system, which the modular system is a lot faster to change, but it doesn't, like I already just showed you, you can't really do much with it. Whereas this, the cozy house, you can literally, yeah, it would take you a moment 'cause you have to go into the directions and change it, the instructions, but you can actually do that and change it into something totally different. You got three different things you can change it into. So that is a positive in itself. The the family houses, based on the city set, but the family houses, both of them will give you things like animals and minifig animals. Both of them have a dog, a little dog there, a little dog there. The cozy house being a creator set, you have mini builds for animals like the cat and the slug, or I mean snail, I'm sorry, and the toys. So in that aspect, you know, that's a difference between the two in that regard. Now, another thing too, because the family houses are part of the city set, and during the same time frame, they had launched. Um, I'm not sure when they launched. This set came out in 2021, the older family house, and I'm not sure when they launched the road plates, but it was at least out during the time of 2021 and on. The family houses are geared towards the idea of connecting to the city, the road plates, and so you come with a car because it's just part of the whole integration of this family home being a part of the city in Lego City. The Though the cozy house has more pieces and more details, which we'll get into in a bit as one of its positives, but it's lacking the components to make it more seamless into the cityscape, which is things like a car, family car, obviously less compatible with road plates in terms of attaching. So that is, a factor there that you can see clearly difference between these two sets and the cozy house. Now, I'm going to turn this one around. I'm going to turn all of them around so we can kind of get a little sense of the back. Well, first, before I do that, like I said, the cozy house has a lot more detail. This has its front yard. Now, the cozy house has the ability to close in on itself. Um, I, hopefully I didn't damage the roof when I was trying to do this. I am trying to get this to close in on itself, but sometimes you got to be careful because there's not a lot of places to grab it from. So you end up grabbing from the roof and then it ends up causing a problem. So here you could see, and I'm not going to tighten it when I do the close, but here you could see that that's the back of the house and it looks really nice. The detail on it, you close the house up completely. And then, that is the front of the house with the mailbox and the garbage. And then you have the back of the house with your, you know, porch, little back porch, little awning, your little kind of back entrance with the little pebbles. And I guess you can consider this part of the backyard if you want, which is cool. In that aspect, you get this very closed concept, and it's very cool in that aspect of this kind of complete house in terms of its exterior. We're going to go later on into which one's more of a complete house in terms of other aspects, but in terms of the exterior, the cozy house is a lot more complete in the sense you can close it off. It's a full fledged closed home. You see the entire home, the whole aspect of it. That's how big the home is. So, yes, in the inside is cram, but this is more reminiscent to those bigger sets that I was mentioning before. Um, that are, I think that they're called Icon, I think are the sets, but I'm not sure. The 18 plus sets that are for adults that have those big sets, like I said, Town Square, I think it's called, and you got the hotel, the boutique hotel, the police station, all those kind of other ones like that. They have that same concept because they were originally from the creator line, and so they'll have that concept to be able to be fully closed in. And this one continues off that, so that is a huge plus for this if you want that vibe that's completely closed. And now you got to see, like I said, the yard and everything like that. Now this one here obviously has its own little yard. It's a side yard, which is cool. And then this one has just a front yard with no kind of backyard or side yard. Where this one's, the design of it makes you feel like you have a kind of a side slash front yard, and gives you a decent amount of yard too, for that matter. Because this one builds more upwards vertically, you have a decent amount of ground space, which is kind of cool. Where this one has very little, and obviously the cozy house has a decent amount in the front, not as much because of the fact that you've got so much detail, takes up a lot of space. But I really just love the detail in the cozy house. If you are really about detail, the cozy house is winning automatically. In that area, the cozy house is winning. You got the chimney, you got all this detail on the roof and everything like that. So I'm letting you know that hands down. But we're gonna go into the back area. I like these little details too, of these kind of little I don't know if you would call them the equivalent to shingles, but um now this one has an angle, so you have certain components on the side here and then the back. So I'm gonna try to kind of put this in a way where we get a little bit of. I'll turn it around if I got it, because that angle is making it a little hard to see everything. And then I'm gonna turn this one around too, because we are gonna now jump into some of the interior stuff elements. Because one thing I really want to get into now, mind you, this family house has the greenhouse. Let me move this over a little bit. Um, I want to try to keep them all on screen as best as possible while I do this comparison. So we have all the interiors here. Now, mind you, with this one, there's a little bit. I'm gonna quickly show you that. I'm sorry for, and this is gonna be a long video because we're comparing three different locations, three different structures. Let me just this up a little bit because I just want to show you this, because after I show you this, I'm not going to come back to it in my general description. You see the living room right there? It's five it's 5 studs deep, and it's 4 studs to sit on, a usable space to sit on. 2 studs wide on the couch and 2 studs on the floor. That is the living room with a nice large screen TV. So I definitely like that little setup right there. And the kitchen is pretty small, but you do have some decent features in it. You got the stove. Um, you got what looks like a blender, and below that, I guess, is 2 ovens. I don't know. And then you got the range hood on top. I don't know if both of these are supposed to be considered an oven or just this one and that one storage. I don't know. So I just want to point that out, because as I turn these this way, we're not going to really jump into that. I lost one of these hockey sticks. And some of the small little things I'm not going to get into, because you look at the reviews for that. I'm just kind of really comparing the major differences in terms of the structures and certain things that come with the sets. So here we're looking at the interiors now. The cozy house, like I mentioned before, has a lot of detail. The negative to that is so crammed. So you have no available space, really, in terms of what you can see here. You have the bed. Like I said, I'm sorry, certain things aren't fully in view, but you can go check out the full review on my channel if you want to see all the little nooks and crannies. This is really just a general comparison. So don't mind that you may not be able to see everything at every single angle. But here we have everything's very crammed. It doesn't it goes the space is very good in terms of how deep it goes. The problem is that it's just you got so much stuff in it. Now you could, if you want, take things out. Like for example, here you could take these seats out. Now you got a lot more walking room. Granted, no one's gonna be able to sit down, quote unquote, and it will feel like okay, they're standing next to the table. But that's fine, because when you look at, say, the kitchen area on the newer family house, you have a couch, because it's almost like a living room combined with the kitchen. The kitchen area is one of the best. Well, let me take that back. The kitchen area for the newer family house and the cozy house are both, I would say, probably equal. Because the cozy house has that kind of, we got the kitchen table. They have, a sink with a stove right next to it, a little pot on the stove. You got a little soap container, dishwash container. It's very as the house is called, cozy. It feels very nice. This one's a little more modern, but you also have the sink. You got a pot and a pan that is hanging, which is a very nice detail. You've got a stove top right there, um, one of those modern type that looks like it's like electric. You got these shelves that I am not going to be able to get my finger in to pull them out, but we've got some utensils inside there. I have no nails on my fingers at the moment, so I'm sorry, I can't even really pull them out. But we got a couple of utensils inside here. I filled it up to the brim because they give you extras, and why not throw them in there? But you know, so that's cool. They make it face this way so you can actually open it. Otherwise, you could turn that whole piece and make it face that way to be more realistic. But then you'll never be able to pull them out. But it'll be more realistic to put that on that side. Now, this one has a couch. Same type of couch as the one that was inside this house. Very interesting because this is the newer version of that, and they have um, the same couch, but this kind of shares a living room and a kitchen space. This one's kitchen space is its own separate thing, and then you have a living room which has a lot more. I'm not even gonna say usable room. This chair takes up so much space in it. Obviously, we were just looking at the living room here, so let me do that. Let me turn this a little bit because since we're focusing now on those parts of the house, the kitchen and living room, we'll go to the bedroom in a second. Um, this one's living room is small, but its usable space is probably almost comparable to this one's usable space because of that big chair. This one obviously is usable space is, I would say, probably almost the most, well, because you're sharing the space of the kitchen and so but that open space, this one has a decent amount of open space. So they kind of go, or they all kind of go back and forth between which one's like better or not. I think when it comes to the living room space, um, this one has these two both have an independent living room space. This one's shared. So it's just I can't even really tell you which one's better or not, but just in terms of overall, like how much space they take up, the cozy room between the kitchen and living room combined, because this one's a combined and this one's like separate, but they're kind of near each other. The cozy house has the most living room and kitchen combined space versus these two. But where the cozy house, I'm just going to say it right now, where the cozy house fails in, and this is a big deal, is the fact that the cozy house does not have a bathroom. So I'm going to say this right off jump, and I said this in the comparison between these two. The newer family house is the most complete of all of these houses. Why? Because you have a kitchen, living room open concept. You have a bathroom over here. Um, I can't really show it all that well there, but it's got a shower and there's a shower head sticking up here. You got a shower, you got the toilet. So you have the bathroom, a proper bathroom. Yeah, it's missing a sink, but that's not the biggest of deals. You got a decent bathroom. It's the best bathroom. No, it's not the best bathroom. I'm sorry. This one is an even better bathroom, but they dedicate a little too much space, I feel, for that. But anyway, this one has, like I said, kitchen, living room combined. It has a bathroom, and it's got two bedrooms that are made to fit the parents and the child. So everyone who lives in this home has a room. They have a bed. There's a bathroom. There's a living room and kitchen combination set, which so everything fits. So this is the most complete. With that being said, I'm not saying it's the best, but it's the most complete. And that's kind of what they did by this modern home being the most newer one. I don't know when the cozy house came out, but this is the most newest. So the newer one. Sorry. Now the flaw that I mentioned before with the old family house was the fact that you only have one bed and technically one bedroom. This is like a playroom. Other than that, there's no other place for the parents to be, let alone the other child. So, and I think this is geared towards the youngest child, this room. And so the playroom looks kind of artsy. You've got a paintbrush, a bucket, you got a guitar. So maybe that's more for the older kid to be in, but nonetheless, it's not a bedroom, it's a playroom. So this is very incomplete in that aspect. It's definitely a nice design overall, but it's very incomplete in that aspect. Now, the thing that makes the cozy house just fractionally less, uh, you know, less complete than the newer family house is just the fact that you don't have a bathroom. Other than that, you have the bedroom for the adults, and it's a bed that fits both of them. For the kid, he has a bedroom for himself, and it fits the child. Um, excuse me. You have the child in his bedroom. It fits him. He's got a little desk. He's got a little lamp on his desk. He's got a photo because, like I said, the cozy house has a lot of detail. So he has that. He's got a little toy chest. He has some kind of little purple thing that's standing up. I have no clue what that is. A little purple thing over there. I don't know if that's supposed to be I don't think it's a lamp because he's got a lamp on his desk. So I don't know what it is. But anyway, his room is complete. Their room is complete. They got a little dresser with a lamp as well, in their large bed. So it's crammed, so you don't have a lot of walking room like you would say in these. This one doesn't have a lot of walking room either. This one has a lot of walking room, so that is one aspect about this one that's positive. You don't have rooms for everybody, but you do have a lot more walking space. But in terms of the complete aspect, like I said, the cozy home is second in terms of being complete, while the newer family house is the most complete, and the older family house is the least complete. It does have the most open space. It does have overall the biggest, I want to say, like yard space and everything like that. The way it's designed, this one is the same length, but it definitely is designed in a way where you don't feel like you have as much yard, because this yard is just very open, and this one really has no yard, but because you have the green house taking up that space. um so like I said before, the cozy house doesn't have a car. So and I know I've kind of ranted on a bit going over little things, but this video has gotten pretty long. I can't tell you which one's better to go for if you only had to choose one. So I will say this: parts and detail, and the most affordable, you go with the cozy house. You want the most complete, you go with the newer family house. If you want something that's a little more modern in terms of like a building like structure, or someone might consider, even though it is a house, but it almost has like that building vibe to it, maybe like a I don't want to say a luxury building, but it does have some aspects about it that feel like one of those kind of like condos, or more like a condo or co-op, in just the way it's built up. And it is the tallest. Than the old family house, which, like I said, is no longer, I don't think it's no longer being made. And I think that's why the price is so high. But also, though, and because it's replaced by this, so I'm pretty sure it's not being made. But you'd also, like I said before, have a larger yard. Um, I went over the things that the cozy house's rooms over here. I didn't go into these rooms. Let me just quickly. This one has like I said, the larger bed for both the parents. This bed is even bigger than the one in the cozy house, but I think it's about 6 studs wide. But the cozy house one at 5 studs wide actually has studs on it, so they can lay down. This one, you just lay them down on it, but it doesn't actually have studs to hold them. And then it has a little shelf on the side here with plants. You have their cell phone, and then there's the little boy's room, which has a little TV, which is fitting for the size of his room, a little lava lamp, and a little game controller in his little bed. So neither one of their rooms are for moving around or playing. It's just simply a room. But like I said, this is the one that's the most practical in terms of having all the features needed for the home to, be a proper home. Um, I'm gonna turn all these things around again. Like I said, the cozy house has the most detail. There's something unique about this one. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention as well. This one also has this additional rooftop space area of the barbecue. So that is a plus as well. So I really feel that if I had to kind of just give you a quick rundown of the most positives, the newer family house is the most complete. The cozy house is the most detailed. Um, the older family house, I think, I want to say utilizes space the best. If I had to give it its greatest positive point, because you really feel like you have a decent size yard. You know, you could easily pull this off if you want, and you have even more yard space. But there's definitely like a decent size yard, and then I forgot to mention as well. Coming back to that, you would be having the road plate right here, which is a pretty substantial size. Let me just bring that into frame. I have it disconnected. Just bring that in frame real quick. And this is not completed because the each of the edges should be like this on this side, but I had connected this whole thing into a little a mini city setup, as I was telling you in the beginning, how a person would use it to get started, and that's what I did. But this would be in the front. So essentially, what you would have is even more sense of not extended yard, but in a way almost, because they set up their own little street hockey going on. So this one definitely utilizes the most space in terms of like just that open space and utilizing space. So that's the positive for this one. Detail, the most proper home setup. And yeah, if you have any thoughts, put them in the comments. What's your thoughts? What's your favorite? Which one you would want to get? Like I said, there's definitely a difference between all of them. These two are more similar in the fact that they're for the city setup. But I actually feel that the newer family house and the cozy house are very similar in the aspect of having enough rooms to accommodate enough bedrooms to accommodate all of the family members. Both of these are a little more complete of a setup in that regard. This one is missing a bathroom, but other than that, these two are both alike in that way. So these two are both alike in their ways. These two are both alike in their own ways. The cozy house and the newer family house. The older family house is, like I said, it completely misses the bar in terms of actually having just proper room layout. It's far from it. And what's funny too is the older family house, which had the least amount of pieces, but I don't think that plays a big role because a lot of its pieces, I feel like it still has almost like the most space out of all of them. It actually has the most family members, but yet you have the least amount of beds. So it's almost like a contradiction in itself with that regards. But I still like it for what it is. It's not perfect, but I like it for what it is. None of the sets I would say is perfect, but the newer family house is the closest one to being perfect in terms of logic. It is perfect in terms of logic. I'll just say it like that. It actually is completely perfect in terms of logic. Not to say it's the best one. Cozy home obviously feels like more of an older home, but it definitely feels like it'd be that home where if these were all like houses and someone was on the market to buy them, you'd be like, this one is more of a modern home, typical house structure. This one is almost semi building like, and would probably go for like almost the most expensive. But then this one would probably go for the most expensive because it'd be the oldest home out of all of them. But it'll have that kind of, how they say, like when people are doing like on the HGTV station, they'll be like, I want something that's a little old school as a house, and they'll be like, cool, and they'll go find this, and this will be your more old school house that's got history and richness to it, and it will cost a lot because it's not modern, but it's got certain elements about it. So that's the kind of way you could like take away from it. So anyway, you guys, post your comments below. There's going to be a link in the description for you guys to purchase these on Amazon. And I will catch you guys in the next video.